All right, so finishing. These are the fugly fences. I gotta do the fixture, but my goal here is to get everything set so we could get these mounted and get them out the door because people want these. And the pressure's on. So how do we do it, right? So I did 2 coats of Glancies. These are all squared up. These are nice. I used the hand planes, all the fun stuff. I used Bob Page's scraper guy. I went ahead and used the Lee Nielsen 4 after that just to get it nice and straight, and they're beautiful now. So I'm very happy with it. I think I even used the 140 extended fence upside down. I think there's some other videos showing that. But this right here is the finish I use. My mentor, who makes violins from pieces of wood, says use this. So who am I to say no? So I did 2 coats of Glancies, and then I waited. These have been pretty much done for about a week now. I waited because tacky isn't dry, and a lot of times we do things too quick, and then the finish just smears, opposed to reacting to the what we're trying to do. So for me, I wanted to do that. I think there's some sparkles on this thing, so I'm not comfortable any longer. So this is nice. Bison wax. I like the stuff. It always smells good and leaves your hands feeling fantastic at the end. So I give this an A+. I don't use any applicator or anything special. Just my fingers. Once the wax gets on, you could hit it with like the 4-0 steel wool just to get it into all the pores. You could also hit it with like a little heat. If you had a candle or something, you could pass over it. That's something that no one ever talks about. But the trick is just to get the wax into it. That's really it. You just want the wax in the pores. And then when we're done with this, instead of Brillo, I'm going to use my old 100-year-old Garland buffer. So cool. I got it from this guy. He spent his whole life on the machine making money for his family in the garage. It was like a retrofitted machine. It used to be on an assembly line, and he was towards the end of his life, and I was there picking some stuff, and I said, how much is that machine in the corner? And he said, that machine? And he started telling me, for years I buffed fireplace corbels. That machine right there allowed me to feed my family for years. And I turned to him and I said, if you're not using it anymore, I'm not gonna do anything but use it the rest of my life to feed for my family. And his face lit up. He went inside. He came outside. He gave me a price. I more than happily agreed on it. It wasn't free. And I wasn't really expecting it. I still bought the other tools. And yeah. The rest is history. So I can't wait to show you that. But I want to really coat this. I don't have to rush it or anything. But look how nice this grain is. These are the fugly fences. They're not so fugly anymore. So why did it take so long, and why were these out of stock for a little bit? Well, I had the brackets done. I had everything done. But last week, my laser broke. One of the cords snapped, and now it's useless. So I'm waiting for the parts to come and get shipped, and that's pretty much it. I still love the laser and the rulers. I was on the Bench Talk podcast yesterday, and a lot of people like the rulers. So I can't wait to get back to do that. And I think that's going to be a goal of mine, just to make sure that the ruler's cranking. Oh, the point of the laser being broken was these things here. I didn't have the ability to put wood yawn and all that stuff. So this batch just doesn't go out with it. That's all. That's it. That was the answer I came up with in my head. I said, people still need it. And inventory's low and I need working money. So, that's it. I like it. But we have a bunch of stuff in the works. I actually ordered the 140 blade for the next batch. So it's pretty exciting. And the 67 blade. Very exciting times. So we did the Bench Talk podcast yesterday. It's a European podcast. They reached out to me. They know me from Can I Have It? I was very excited. I never do anything like that, so it was totally out of my comfort zone. My kids refer to me as a wild card. But it was very interesting. There's a lot of really cool people in there, and a couple of them friend requested me already. I'm very, very blessed. And something that came out of it, which I didn't expect at the end, was I was invited to, if I ever come back after it goes off the air, we could talk strategy for new products and stuff like that. Which, having access to that amount of people, craftsmen who want to see everybody succeed in this space, that's what we're talking about. We just want to help people, that's it. And they all understand where I'm coming from too. Like the old barter mindset. They all help each other and rise together. Very important not to stay still or lock your knees when you're doing stuff like this for a while, especially on a cold floor. Your body will stiffen up. Just keep moving. Just keep moving. And the bonus with this is my hands are going to smell good tonight. Because this bison wax just smells so good. I think this is the black one. Oh. Delicious. We're almost done. One more after this. But yeah, it was very interesting doing the podcast. I never do that kind of stuff. Very nerve-wracking. He was asking me, Scott, he was asking me all these things. He was like, all right, you have a layout, blah, blah, blah. I just didn't understand, what it was to even be on a podcast. But giving them, topics and stuff, I could see how that would benefit the conversation. So next time, if I choose to do it, I know I have to give them an outline, which, we did fine. It was so cool, though, seeing all those guys. I knew some of them. Chet was on there, Chester Spires. He's got a YouTube channel. Totally a cool dude. He's out of the entertainment industry. Totally cool. I was hoping to see Chris Bryan. I wanted to talk to him about some stuff. I got to call him because we want to go over some stuff with some rulers. I want to figure out how to put brass inlay around it. So who better to talk to than a guy who makes dollhouses and hand planes? So, and ships and stuff, toy ships. All right, well, that should be done. Now, a little fun. So, line it up. There we go. Watch how I operate. I'm not the best at this. I have my goggles on. I'll start with one of the ones I would deem not perfect first. So when you do this type of stuff, you want to glance into it, all right? You never want to jab. If you jam, this is going to it'll damage the wood, right? So everything's glancing. And you want to make sure you have strong hands, because at any moment, this could fly out of your hand because you're really just holding something slippery. Oh, Oh my god, it's so smooth. I like the way it's like greening it. I hate it, but love it. YOLO. I just want that wax just beat into every pore. This is it. The guy would just go on, just make money for his family all day long. It's always hard to do something like this. Because sometimes, like, if there's a little piece here, it'll just chip off and rip the wood, right? So just be conscious of everything. You gotta know the possibilities. If you go this way, it'll grab and yank the wood down, right? So you just want to make sure you're safe and the project's safe. Okay? And I'm sure I'll do screw up stuff. I don't mind. But it's so smooth. And now I'm gonna let this, I'll let it dry. I'll let it cure now. And then we'll come at it later again. But look at it, this is beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. So smooth. So he makes violins. So he's like, you just gotta do this, layer it. All doing finish is flattening a surface, right? When you sand, all you're doing is just taking the high spots and sanding them to low, so you have one flat sheet. That's really all waxing is, right? You're just trying to make that mirror finish. So you're just filling in gaps. So with the wax, like if you were to heat this a little bit, or my shop wasn't so freaking cold, a little candle or something like that would help it just get into it. Usually when I'm doing like a saw, I'll hit it with like a hair dryer if I'm waxing it, just to get it into the pores. That was something my mentor had showed me. See, I want to get some wax into the end grain. Let's see if any of these other ones have any issues like that. Yep, no more. Let's get it all done. But anytime you're using like a buffing wheel, whether it's this giant one like I'm using, or a little smaller one, just remember somebody like just smacking something out of your hand, right? And that's all this is constantly. So you gotta, every time you go, you gotta know all hell's about to break loose if you have a weak hand. And that's my tip about that. So can't have a weak hand. And I'm sure I'm gonna let one of these out, and it's gonna bounce off the floor. And I'll thank God it's hardwood. Beautiful. Oh my God. And it's only going to get nicer. That's the coolest part about it. Because this is only like the first coat, and it's not even set, and it's not even rebuffed off yet. As you layer it, or you add more wax and another layer, and it hardens and you go another layer, that's when the magic happens. That's why you can't rush finishing. Finishing's like its own thing. That's why there's the general contractors that go in, build it up, whatever, but then they walk away. Right? So you need someone who's proficient at finishing and making sure it gets done right. So it's a whole different mindset. I always like the finishing. I just like to really get in there and make sure. See, if you go at it, but if you let it hit, it's going to come and rip. So that's why we take our time. It's really gorgeous. Look at that. So that's like 3 or 4 coats of Glancy's. Glancy's number 1. Oh, yeah. So Glancy's. I didn't even sand in between. I just let it build. Let's come at this. But you got to be a good finisher, right? You're not going to sell anything unless you could feel comfortable repeatedly doing something and know you're the man at it, or woman. But you just have to be great at it, because you want people to spend their money wisely. Or be honest, like the first couple versions of these fences, they weren't the greatest. But the mechanism behind the rest of it, and the thought process, that's what people were paying for. And it took off like a rocket ship. And now these things are just incredible. Because you all loved the concept of it. Look at these things. Oh my God. I don't even know if you can see it. Well. Truth be told, you should use brown, not green, on wood, brown or white. Green compound's very coarse, so you don't really want to do that. I believe. Anyway, I'm sure you'll double check it. But definitely green is not the preferred on wood. So now that I'm going over it, I'm kind of thrilled that when I do the original ones over again, the next coat, the green won't be there, and I'll probably put the white on it. This machine's like 100 years old. What was that? I'm happy it didn't go in the dumpster. Beautiful. before. After. And it's all tacky right now, right? Because the wax is still doing it, whatever. And I have that tacky fingertip feeling too. Meh. Nice. There's nothing better. I could literally do this the rest of my life. I totally understand. Totally understand how satisfying this is. I could be building elaborate stuff. But just making something square is harder. Beautiful. Yeah. Now I gotta get my rivet gun. I gotta finish making the fixtures. I got some orders to pack. I can't believe any of those French curve sets I saw. Ridiculous. Have a great day.